Okay, video 16. We're still talking about slope, but we're giving a very weird problem. 2 points and only 3 numbers. So we're missing this number. We need to figure out what this number is, knowing that the final result is a slope of 3. So you have to remember the slope formula. That's the first thing. This is the slope formula, and you should remember that from working on this packet when you did problems 10, 11, and 12. And then when you finished at the end, you did 7, 8, and 9, and that helped you practice it, as well as this on page 85. So you had 9 problems that you did in class over this formula. So I want to make sure this video makes sense. Let me label first. I'm not sure if you know why this is labeled what we labeled it, but this is always X because it's first. This is always Y. Same thing here, always X, always Y. Now, why do I have the numbers there? This is 0.1, this is 0.2. So that's why it said, why you have X1, Y1. And I know some of you have a habit of saying 1, 2, so you want to put X1, X2, but that's wrong. This is X, this is Y, X, Y, first point, second point. So now I just put in the numbers. So Y2 is 4. Y1, it says 1. X2 says X. X1, it says 3. So Y2 minus Y1, X2 minus X1. X2 is X, X1 is 3. Now, what do we know about this? It's supposed to equal 3. Okay? So now we have to figure out what was this. Well, let me help you a little bit. I'll rewrite this and put in another step here. How else can you write 3? 3 over 1, right? So that means 4 minus 1 has to give me 3, and X minus something has to give me 1, because remember, 3 over 1 is the same thing as 3. And when you want to see 3 in slope 4, you put it over 1. So what does this number have to be so that I get a 1? Exactly, 4. And that's the answer to this question. So what is the value of X? It would be 4. Now, is it 4 because he's 4? No. This is 4 because 4 minus 3 is 1. Let's try another one. 5 comma negative 1, A comma Y, M equals 2. So let's set it up. We have to first label X1, and what do I put here? Y1, because that's 0.1, then X and Y, and this is 0.2. So the formula, again, Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1 is the slope formula. So let's plug everything in. Y, because that's what Y2 says. And then minus, do I just write 1 or do I have to write negative 1? I have to write the Y1 and the minus sign. So you have to write them both. And then X2 is 8. And then X1 is 5. Okay, now I want to change this because we have to practice that minus and negative is a big plus sign. So I want to rewrite that to Y plus 1 because this was negative and the minus sign made it become a plus sign. Okay, so now my question is, how do we make that be 2? Well, I could rewrite it and leave a space, and we could write 2 over 1, or I could just come here and put it over 1 so that we understand what happened. This is confusing, isn't it? Because 8 minus 5, does it give you 1? No. So how would we do this problem? So let's see here. what other things could reduce and become 2? So y plus 1 over 8 minus 5. What else could give us 2? Well, what is 8 minus 5? It's 3. What does this have to be so that when I divide it, I get 2? It has to be 6. Okay, that makes more sense. So what plus this would give me 6? It would be 5. So y is 5. That was confusing, right? Let's go back over it. We labeled, we put our slope formula. We had to make sure we put the negative. We went ahead and changed that to y plus 1, and then we put 2 over 1. But then we noticed 8 minus 5 is not 1, so how do you do this? Okay, well, we remembered that there are other forms of 2 over 1. We had to find an equivalent fraction. Well, how do you do that? Don't freak out. Just say, well, 8 minus 5 is 3. We know that. So what divided by 3 would give me 2 over 1? And that number was 6. Whew. So now, what plus what would be 6? 5. Okay, Ms. Jones is going to come and show you 2 more examples, and then I'll show you the last one, and we'll be done.
Okay, so let's look at the second example. 4y, 8, and 7. Okay, just like Ms. Pierce is doing, I want to label these so I can keep track. x1, y1, x2, and y2. Good? Alright, there's an important piece of information. We need to know that the slope is equal to 1 in this case. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and plug in these numbers back in that formula. So y2, 7, minus y over 8 minus 4. Okay? Alright, so I'm going to leave that space, and we have to think about that it equals 1. Well, these have been given to us, 8 minus 4. Well, we know that 8 minus 4 is 4. Well, how does that work? How does this over 4 equal 1? Well, let's think about it. Fractions are like division problems. What can we divide by 4 and make it equal to 1? You said 4, you're right. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So now that's going to help us find out what is this missing number. Okay, well, 7 minus what equals 4? 7 minus 3 equals 4. So this is very similar to what Ms. Pierce was doing, but this time it was the y that was missing. All right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is what was missing. So it's the same steps, just in a different place. All right, let's look at this next one. Four, 3, and 5y. Go ahead and label x1, y1, x2, y2. And then our slope is going to be 3. Okay, so y2 is actually the one that's missing, so we're going to put the y instead of y2 minus 3. That's the y1, and it's going to be over x2, 5, minus x1, 4. Good? All right. We'll leave that space, and we know that's going to be equal to 3. Okay. I like how we make sure that when we see a whole number, we have to know, well, what fraction is that? It's over 1. Okay, so we want to rewrite it and help out to help out and see that 3 is the same as 3 over 1. Okay, so let's figure out this middle part. 5 minus 4 is 1. Well, that's easy. Okay, so then we're going to look at, well, what minus 3 is going to help us equal 3? Well, that's pretty easy. I hope you get it. So y should be 6 because 6 minus 3 is going to equal 3. And that's exactly what our slope is. You see how it matches? 3, 3, 1, 1. Okay, so our answer is y equals 6. So don't forget that what we're looking for is we're not looking for this missing part in the middle. We're looking for that missing value for the for the y in this situation. Okay? All right, and Ms. Pierce is going to finish us off with one more problem.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Craig. That was awesome. Sharing is caring. Okay, so let's do one more, and we have 3, comma, y, 1, comma, 9, and we know that the slope is, negative 5 over 2. Ew, I don't like that. Well, let's do it anyway. So we have to label x1, y1, x2, y2. And we have to write our formula just in case you forgot. Okay, now let's plug everything in. y2 goes first. y1, x2, x1. Negative. Now, let's talk about this negative in the middle. That does not mean that it belongs to the 5 and the 2. When you see the negative in the middle, just move it to the top. And that means that the bottom number is positive. So if we were graphing, that would be to down 5 and then to the right 2. Okay? So, look how little my fraction is and then how big this is. Isn't that funny? Okay, anyway. So 1 minus 3 is what? Well, let's rewrite it and put a space between it. And if you notice in the video today, we have been putting and leaving a space so that we can make sense of what we're writing. Okay? So what is 1 minus 3? Negative 2. Oh, I love this. This is going to be great. So I need to know, how can I get this to match that? So 9 minus what could possibly give me 5 or negative 5? Well, I'm hoping that you're thinking 4, and then you put a 5 here. Because 9 minus 4 is 5. So that means y is 5 and not negative 5. Now, hold on, I'm videoing, go back out. I know you're saying, but Miss, the negative is here, but not over here. So isn't that different? Isn't that wrong? Well, I want to show you something real quick on the Inspire. Could you grab me an Inspire calculator? There's one right there on that desk. And it's so great that this played out this way, because we need to make sure that you understand that the negative being at the bottom means the same thing as being at the top. It's either or, not both. Remember when we did negative correlations, we always said one is negative and one is positive? Well, that's what you see. One is negative, one is positive. One is negative, one is positive. So, in the calculator, I'm going to show you this one. So, control divide, 5, negative 2. Watch what it does to the negative 2. Wham! Look at that. It moves it to the top. So, my kids are coming back from lunch, so I need to let them come in because they keep opening the door. But Ms. Grant, thank you so much for this session, and we will see you in class. Want to say bye, Ms. Craig?
Bye. See you in class.